So hello fellow banknote collectors, this is Glenn, back with another video, and today we're going to have a look at Japanese banknotes that were issued before the end of the Second World War. And these ones actually are not too hard to get, except for the first one. The first one's actually harder to get because it's the actual oldest banknote I have from Japan. But the other issue are easier to get, but they're actually not cheap. So I will discuss basic pricing as I go through the video. So the first two banknotes I have are actually issued by the Japanese government. So, and the other banknotes are actually issued by the Bank of Japan. So they're two different entities. This will be equivalent to being issued by a finance department or any other department. That is not a bank, so these would have been issued directly from the government budget. And this is a 10 sen, and these banknotes were issued in 20 and 50 cent as well. They actually issued earlier banknotes from 1872, starting from 10 sen to 100 yen, and they only actually ever issued one. Actually, no, they didn't issue any 1 sen or 5 sen. The Bank of Japan actually issued a 5 sen, but the 1 sen was never a banknote. And this one is dated down below Taisho 10, so that makes this banknote 1921. And these all would have a date of, so the dating system is there. Don't worry, the pen's not near the banknote, it just looks like it. So you got Taisho, then you got, Taisho 10 year, and I'm not too sure what actually means. So the dating is the first part, and you got 10 sen, and you got 10 here. And this is actually chrysanthemum, and it's the actual emblem of Japan. It should have 16 petals. So if you actually count them, here's an official seal of Japan. This is more like a coat of arms around here. It has no official standing. Then we have 10 around the sides. And does it have a watermark? No, it doesn't. And on the reverse, we just have the values. Probably saying this is exchangeable for silver. So that's a nice banknote. These ones are probably, in this condition, probably about $10 to $20. They're a harder series to get because a lot of these earlier series, because a lot more people were in poverty compared to now, they wouldn't have actually kept them because they just would have used all the money they had to actually purchase things to actually keep living. So a lot of these wouldn't have been kept except for the few people that had money. Now most of them would not have been interested in keeping any of these banknotes. So that's one from 1921. The second banknote I have, so this is the early version, 1938, and this is a 50 cent. And up the top, it just says Government Japan, issued by the Government Japan. And it has the date down here. This is in a Showa. So 13, year 13 of the Showa. And this actually has Mount Fuji. So Mount Fuji, and here's the rising sun is actually a reference to Japan's rising power. That's how I see it anyway. And you can see here it has a block number, so 595. So they didn't actually have a full serial number, so just a block number. So there would have been heaps of banknotes with that number on it. And here we have, it looks like a plum blossom, which if you know Japanese culture, that's quite, it actually is focused on Japanese culture. So you can see a 50 yen has a chrysanthemum as well. So they actually do like flowers, And here we have 100 yen. I can't remember what flower that is, but it's quite easy to look up on Numistar. And on the back, we just have the value. And in 1942, I think they issued another banknote with, I'm just looking it up. Yeah, with a shrine on it. With the Yusakuni shrine. And that one's actually a lot easier to get because that one was mass produced because during the Second World War, Japan actually went through a bit of inflation. So then we have the 10 cents. So that complements the 50 cent. And this one was issued in 1944. So these ones actually replace the, where's the 10 cent coin? So here's a 10 cent from this is what, 16? So this is a 1942-43 issue. 10 cent in aluminium. As you can see, they're actually run out of materials. When before, the actual 10 cent used to be a, so that's a aluminium bronze, and earlier it was actually a silver coin. So you can see the actual devaluation of the coin caused by inflation, where they removed the silver and then they just gradually removed the actual any content of any good metal that was actually in the coin. So this one has the peace tower, or the Heiwa Dainoto in Mizakazi. So that's actually the peace tower, which is pretty hypocritical considering at the time Japanese were waging war. Then again, the United States can't really talk. And if you look on the reverse, it just has the denomination again, and Bank of Japan. So that's pretty basic. And this one also has block numbers. So this is block number 1, so the first series of banknotes. And I would say once they've run out of block numbers, probably go up to 1,000, they just would have restarted again. And the second one is a better condition banknote, as you can see, block number 12. These ones probably cost, in this condition, probably pick them up for about $5. So they're not really an expensive banknote, but they are something that's just worth collecting. So the next one I have is one of my favorites. It is a 1 yen from 1916. These ones are actually not dated, and these circulated up until 1943 when they actually issued a smaller version of the 1 yen. And it does have a watermark. It just says 1 yen silver, or exchangeable for 1 yen in silver. And the guy who is actually on it, his name is, Takenouchi no Sukuni. And you're going to actually look him up. Wikipedia does have a good article on him. And his name's down below in Japanese. So these banknotes in this condition, you're probably paying about $10. If you want a higher grade banknote, like extremely fine, you're probably paying about $50. And an uncirculated, probably a few hundred. So during the Second World War, these had a higher printing. So this one is 441, which would make it closer towards 1943. Probably around the 1940s mark, I would say. And the block numbers 300 to 446 are actually the most common. The earlier ones, well, if we look at the reverse, you can see it's actually promised to pay the bearer in demand 1 yen in silver. So then it has a 1 yen silver coin on there. So this one has English. And in the 40s, they actually removed the English from the actual banknote. That's why they actually changed the design in 1943. So it's actually a nice banknote. I find that these ones are not that easy to get. It's probably like 3 or 4 at one time on eBay, but they're not as common as what people think. But this is actually one of my favourite banknotes. So this is a 10 yen from 1930. I just like it. It's just beautiful because, you know, you got the black overprint, and don't worry, my pen's not close to the banknote. And you got the olive coloured, olive green background, and you got the red, and you got the serial number. And these banknotes were issued up until 1943, when they actually, 1942 actually, I think. Sorry, I'm just looking at the website. Yeah, 1943. So this one is 1000, so it'll be most likely in the 40s. And this one has a portrait of Wake no Kiyomoro. So he lived around about the 900s, and he was actually a confidant of one of the emperors. I think the 50th emperor of Japan, can't remember his name. So, and he is actually supposed to be a deity for the shrine on the back. And this is actually the Jinja Shinto shrine. So Shinto is actually a native religion of Japan. And it's based on multiple gods. So that's actually a nice banknote. Quite like it. You can see it's got 10 yen in Latin and Arabic numerals. And then you got this security feature on the side here. And that's just a nice banknote. And then the second one I have is actually from, damn, hate picking these banknotes up. They're actually a bit harder, especially when they're on a flat surface. So this one is actually from the 40s. You can see it has a plate number 9. And this one actually has a something wrong with the paper, and that was actually caused before printing. So the paper's just folded up when it was actually being made. So then it's been printed over it. And this one actually has blue. So it has blue in the background, and it's more like a brownish colour than the other banknote. So if I put them close together, you can see the actual differences in the actual colour. That's how you can tell them apart. And also on the reverse of the banknote, it doesn't have 10 yen. So that's another feature. And also the shrine is also a different colour. So this one's black and this one's blue. So basically that's how you can actually tell them apart. So the 1930s 10 yen, you're probably paying a minimum of $10 per banknote. In this condition, probably getting a bit more. You can get one for under $10, but they'll be in worse condition. And then we have the 1940s, you're probably paying between $5 and $10 for one of these banknotes, because these ones are printed in excess. And Japan actually suffered higher inflation after the Second World War, so there are a lot more of these actually printed, and these would have been replaced in 1946 with a newer banknote, which is pretty similar. That's a 1945. The 1946 is Uniface, and then you got the US military currency, which was actually used. I believe the A notes, one with the A prefix lettering, were actually used in Japan, and B was used in Ryukyu. Then you got the other denominations. You got a 20 from 1931, and then you got 100 as well. And during the Second World War, they did issue a 200, but they never actually issued a 50 yen banknote until 1946, which is after the Second World War, which doesn't actually include this video. So actually quite a nice banknote. I do like them. Japanese coins and banknotes are obviously not very popular in Australia, but they would be in Japan quite obviously, because the country of origin is generally where the currency is the most popular. But if you're into history, these are actually a good banknote series to get, and some of them are very expensive, but some of them are also not too expensive to actually get. Anyway, here I'll leave the video. I'll leave a link down below to Japanese items on eBay. And I would just like to say thank you very much for watching my video, and have an awesome banknote and coin collecting time. Thank you and goodbye.